do it, and we doing it live, and we back. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin, and here go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Riffin with Griffin, baby. Welcome back, everybody, to Riffin with Griffin. This is your host, Erik Griffin, and we back at it live once again on YouTube. Today's episode, I got to do my NBA playoff preview. I saw a couple of shows and movies. We'll talk about that. We'll get caught up on whatever's going on in my world. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Let's just get into it. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. We are live once again, back on the show. Appreciate that. Everybody that watches the show and listens to the show. You know, I'm the new studio. I had a little setback, but we're going. So I'm getting these new solar panels and all this stuff, and I had to have what do you call it? I couldn't move all the stuff out of the room because of the construction and the people, but whatever. You know, we're here. We're doing it. You know, Riffin with Griffin is here. You know, I'm not going anywhere, you know. Yeah, so we're back. Make sure you hit the sub button. You know what I mean? Sub. So you know when I'm going live, you know when I put up a video, when I put up stand-up or anything like that. I'm on Twitch most days. I do that even more than I do Riffin with Griffin. New Call of Duty Verdansk is back, and it's been fun. The nostalgia from the pandemic is real. So that's fun. And then make sure you, all the new members on the Patreon, old members on the Patreon, I appreciate you. You know, I'm putting up episodes there too, because when I do the Patreon, just when I actually get to it, it's going to be just this format, and then the podcast is going to be in the new studio, so you have two different looks. This will be always be more intimate, but you know, it is what it is. But welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. We are here. Thanks for being here, all you guys that are here live. And once again, also shout out to all of the people that listen audio. You know, you're in your car, wherever you guys are listening. I appreciate that. That is great. What else? Okay. Oh, if you want to come see me live, you got to come see me live. Oh, I even got a new website coming. I got to hit the guy back up because we got that coming. It was a big joke on the golden hour, but actually it's actually a real thing that's going to happen. I got to take all these other dates off the podcast, but if you want to see me perform live, all right, so I already did improv. Mothership this past weekend was great. Shout out to them. The Mothership is great. I mean, the Mothership is the best comedy club experience for a comedian in the country. There isn't a better road comedy club experience than the Mothership. It was great. But coming up this weekend, guys, I will be in the Kansas City Comedy Club. April 17th through the 19th. That's this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Come check me out. Next week, I will be in Seattle at the Laughs in Seattle. So come check me out there if you're in the Seattle area. And then back to La Jolla, the Comedy Store in La Jolla, 30th through the 1st. And then I got a bunch of other dates, and I got some dates even in between there. I'm going to be going to be out there with Matt Rife. Actually, next week I'm going to be in D.C. You know, it's supposed to be a secret, but who cares? Everybody knows because it's clearly a cutout of Matt, but I think I'm performing. I may not be, but if you want to, I think the tickets are already sold out because it's a small little venue called Room 808, owned by Martin Amini. I directed his special. Come check that out. So, but anyway. Lots of stuff going on. I'm going to be in Vegas with Matt. I'm going to be in Red Rocks with Matt. So along with doing my own things. So I got a lot of dates and stuff coming up. Life is good. So appreciate, you guys being here and supporting, and all the people that want to watch Riffin with Griffin or come see me live, which is my absolute favorite thing to do, is to do stand-up. Something about it, man. It's nothing better. But yeah, my experience at the mothership was great. They got this great condo, the corner condo with floor-to-ceiling glass, PlayStation in the room, PlayStation with a big 75-inch TV, great internet, snacks in the refrigerator, snacks in the cupboard, waters and Coke Zeros and, sparkling water. I mean, it was just a great experience. I think, there's nothing better than someone like Joe Rogan, just like he's so successful in his other, whatever he's doing, that he can just spend the time and money to make this comedy club the kind of experience he always wanted to have when he was coming up. So it's great, everything about it is great. There isn't a comedy club that does what he does, because it's just a lot of selfish ass comedy club owners that just do bookers that they don't treat the comics with any kind of respect, and when they're forced to because of fame and social media presence, that's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's that means they don't even really want to. They just have to. The mothership wants to, so it's really fantastic experience. And so, but again, like I said, I'm going to Kansas City Comedy Club, and that's a great club too, man. No shade on any, you know what I mean? That, I love that owner. I love that club too. That's, I try to play the clubs I love and work with the people that, treat me well. But just the mothership is just at a whole other level, man. So, I got new solar panels on the roof. So I live in a new build house that just comes with, because when you build a new place in California, there's a rule, you got to have solar panels. But, these building companies, they only going to do the bare minimum. So you're going to get a minimum mass system, and I got the one battery. I wish it was a Tesla Wall 3, but, when they built it, it still had Tesla Wall 2s, so that sucks. Because if you have 2 Tesla Wall 2s, you're good to go. But the power companies do this weird thing, right? So let's say you're using your power. So right now it's just me, Rachel, and the baby, and, we got, we don't, when you think about it, we're not really using a lot of power, So then the power company takes your power bill. Then they determine, based off your power bill, okay, we'll allow you to get this many more panels, Sucks, because then you're not really getting you can't upgrade to a really great system where you can get 11, 12, 13 watt system, kilowatts or whatever that number is, coming in every day from the sun. You know what I mean? And then you charging up batteries, charging your car. There's just so much you could do with a bigger system. They only allowed me to get 4 more 400 watt panels, which is only going to be 1.7 or something more kilowatts than I'm already getting. So I'm probably going to end up getting 6 kilowatts a day, tops 7 maybe. I don't know, something like that. So it's kind of weird that they do it like that. Because the only reason I know this too is because I saw my neighbor walking down the street with his wife and their dogs, and he goes, "Hey, I see you got more panels," and I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah, we're doing the same thing," but they gave their bill because they work from home, so they're using a lot of power. They got 2 kids, and so there's just their power bill is way more expensive. So he's like, "Yeah, man, we're getting 16 more panels." I'm like, "What? 16?" So it's really strange why they do it like this, And they got a lot of do-it-yourself solar things. I see all these videos do-it-yourself. I think you still have to get permission from the power company. I mean, I don't know, man. To me, it don't make any sense. To me, it's put as many panels as you can, or make your whole roof one of those solar panel roofs. I wish I had done that. You can make the whole roof solar panels, and it's just power coming in from all over the place, charging up your batteries and stuff. So, and then they got this thing called net metering. So net metering 1, 2, and 3. Net metering 1 was great because you were whatever you spent on power, whatever power you generated, that's the amount of money that it was. So let's say it cost you $10 to use power. If you generated the same amount of power from the solar panels, they would have to pay you back $10. So then, therefore there was no need for batteries. You didn't need a battery, well, the battery would just be for backup. In case the power went out, you would have this battery be able to run for like, almost half the day or like all through the night or however you needed it for your main essentials. Because, then the power, it would offset, so you would basically have no bill. Then they were like, oh, wait a minute, we don't like that. Because then they realized the power of the sun was pretty powerful. Then they went to this net metering 2, which was like a little less money. Now they got this net metering 3, which is garbage. It's like 6 cents they're giving you on the so basically you're not making any money back. So that lends itself to saying, hey, you should get a battery, So when you get it, so then so now you could just go off grid. I try to as much as I can. So like, the battery charges all day or charges during the day. And then, it's sending money back, sending power back. You're getting your 6 cents, it ends up being like $4 or something like that. And then like, at night, I'm running the house off the battery. So it's just like a cycle that goes like that. So I got an extra battery. So it seems like, so there are a lot of days I'm getting 99%, 100%. You never get 100% because they always sneak. The grid is always sneaking some power to you for some reason. I don't know why, but you can never get 100%. The only issue too is that I have a electric car. So no matter what, there's no, like you'd have to have 5 batteries to like, whereas you didn't have to use the grid. And also like you'd have to be producing a lot of power during the day for like, cause I got one of these electric chargers that it will use excess solar. But what I'm realizing is it only kicks in at a certain level. So it's like once the batteries are full, I don't know if the panels are producing enough power to run the house and then send the excess to to charge the car during the day. So you just leave your car plugged in and you're hoping that some solar comes in to charge the car. But a lot of times at night, it's like that's going to be like 80 kilowatts of power or something to charge your car. I mean, it's a lot. So like my neighbors have 2 electric cars and that's what they dealing with. You know what I mean? He's like, man, my power bill's so high. Like I got a buddy of mine. I think I talked about this, but whatever. I'm going to get to the playoffs, guys. I see you guys in chat. I got a buddy of mine. He was telling me he lives in Santa Clarita, and he's like, yeah, man, my power bill is $1,400. I was like, what? And he don't have solar panels. Like, people that don't have solar panels that could get solar panels, it's not a flex that you spending a lot of money. It's not. You know what I mean? Like this happened. I was in Arizona a couple weeks ago, and shout out to actually that's a great club too, man. Phoenix Live in Arizona, they treat you well too. There's a great hotel across the street. It's great. But anyways, I'm talking to this guy, and he's like, yeah, in Arizona, his power bill's averages like $500 a month. And I said, what? I was like, why don't you get solar panels? And he was like, well, that initial upfront cost. And I was like, what are you talking about? Okay, so in a year, that's $6,000 a year you're spending on just average. You're spending $6,000 on power in Phoenix, okay? $6,000, okay? In 1 year. You could go get financing for your power. So let's say you go get financing for the solar panels. I guarantee you it's not going to be $500 a month to finance solar panels. For a system that's going to be like, even if the system's like $20,000, it ain't going to be $500 a month because these things they're extrapolating it out like 15 years, whatever it is like that, right? So you could work out some kind of deal. So let's say check this out, even if your payment was like $300 a month, plus the $50 a month, you still probably end up paying the electric company because now you're offsetting your thing. That's cheaper than $500 a month. I don't get it. It like literally doesn't make any sense to me. Like the power company got people tripping. My friend is spending $1,400. He said, well, we got 2 electric cars. And we got like the pool pump and all this stuff. Get solar. Once they see how much you're going to be able to get as much solar as you want. If you're willing to spend that kind of money a month, you're talking about that's $30-something thousand a year on power. What? Well, that's not that much. But, you talk about 12,000. Yeah, it's getting there, though, right? It's getting to be like $20,000 a year. So you're talking about in 3 years, you're spending $60,000, $40,000, $50,000. That's the system. That's how much the system is going to cost. And then it starts to pay for itself. And then in another 5 years, you've paid it off because you're not paying the same amount of money. It don't make any sense to me. My message to everybody out there is just like, check in on getting solar. Don't get scammed because there's a lot of scams out there. But look into it, Why is that? What is that right there? What white is that on the screen? Oh, it's this. Okay. I'm like, that's distracting. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Well, I mean, that's the thing that says somebody in the chat said, I hear that the electric grid can't handle all the solar, nowhere to store it. I don't believe that. That they just saying that. Because they could just divert the solar to, low-income neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Like, it's the grid can do whatever they want with the power. They just trying to make money. They have nowhere to store it. What are you talking about? Just turn off, just divert the solar energy that they have towards low-income neighborhoods. They could do it. Don't believe that nonsense about there's nowhere to store the solar. Don't believe that. Don't even believe that at all. Okay? That's nonsense. Just think about that like that. That don't even make sense. Well, we don't have no place to store the solar. So, how are they, what's crazy too is the electric company is using solar to send you power. Like, that's what they're doing. In California, between California and Nevada, they got these big ass fancy solar panel things that are just collecting solar. It's running all of Vegas, and they still charging you. Like, it's all a scam, man. So don't listen to that stuff. Ugh. Anyways, so that's going on. Wolf's almost 15 months. So the little tyke, he's like, oh, man. Isn't it just something else to all you parents out there to have a kid? Let me go to my, let's see. Where my gram at? Let's go to profile, and then I got this great picture of him and I on my Instagram. I don't know if I fixed this yet. Let's see if I fixed it. Instagram video, Instagram post. Let's see if this looks properly. Sort of. Why is it? Wow. I think I gotta go to this one. Let's see. There it is. Look at that. Ooh. He's just a little ham, man. We got to cut his hair, though, I think. I kind of wanted to see how long it can grow, but I don't know. His hair is crazy. Some days it looks crazy. Then other times, we brush it or whatever, then he looks like, I'm like, oh, look at this. I wish I had this cute white boy hair when I was growing up, But, it is what it is. We'll see. I think he got the best qualities from Rachel and I. That's my favorite thing about him, Anyways, all right, let's get to it, guys. Let's get to the main topic of this episode, which is the NBA. You know what I mean? Let's get into the NBA so let me go to my brackets. Okay, so you know what? I've been talking a lot of smack about the NBA last couple of years because it's just like, I don't know, after the pandemic, I just found myself not interested in basketball as much as I once did. And then, you have this all this nostalgia that I think that's killing the NBA. Well, people talking about Michael Jordan, and then it's like LeBron James is chasing Jordan. So you have this kind of thing that always comes up. And then I agree with Charles Barkley, the idiots on ESPN, all they do is talk about that all ad nauseum. And it's like, okay, so then I thought I'm one of those guys, I grew up watching Michael Jordan. Like, I remember the first time I even heard of Michael Jordan was in the playoffs against Boston. The game was on. I'll never forget this. It's Celtics Chicago, first round. And the guys talk, you're just kind of watching, and the guy's like, Michael Jordan. And then it's like they kept saying it. Oh my goodness, Michael Jordan again. Michael Jordan. And I was like, what? And I started watching. I was like, God damn. Like, you don't even have to be a basketball fan. And you're watching this and you're like, well, this is incredible. They didn't even win the game. Chicago lost, right? And then after that, I was like, ooh, I got to start watching this. And then it just like, it turned into what it turned into, 6 championships. And then, all the commercials, and then the rise of fame, and then the dream team, and then, all this stuff, man. And then everything that's been happening since, then everybody trying to chase that, 6-0 in the finals, thing. I've said in the past, I'll say it again. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player. I think that in his prime, from that time that he's winning those championships, there was no one better than that. But I think LeBron James has had the greatest basketball career, probably athletic career ever. Like, who's had a better career? Like, what's equivalent to, like, this guy's still playing at a high level at 41 or whatever, how old he is, you know what I mean? And he's been doing that for 22 years. That's a pretty tremendous career with no blemishes. He didn't leave the game for 2 years to go try to play another sport like Jordan. There's no issues you don't hear about gambling. You don't hear about, there's no like rumors about the mob and all this kind of stuff. It's just LeBron just doing his thing for 20 plus years. And then doing it at a time of social media where you just like the most scrutinized athlete ever, because of social media, and still be able to like shine. It's pretty incredible. I think the guy's had the most incredible career. I mean, it's only what's equivalent? Maybe Tom Brady for sure. 7 championships. He played till he was 45 or whatever it is, 44. That's like, those are the type of careers I'm talking about. I think Gretzky played for a long time. There's a couple hockey players that played like, you go, wow, they played that long. The guy that just broke, what is it, Ovechkin? Isn't that his name? I think he just broke Gretzky's record. That guy's been playing for a long time, but I don't know if he has the individual success plus the championships to be in that category, but he probably is in that category. Who else? I mean, there's probably a few soccer players, maybe Messi. Like, how long has he been playing? It's like there's very few athletes in any sport that has the success, longevity, influence on the game, influence on the culture as LeBron James, And if you think that makes him the greatest ever, I have no problem with that, No problem with that. So anyways, that being said, Cal Ripken's another one, but he didn't have enough success. I don't think Cal Ripken had, and then look at Tiger. No, so you can't count Tiger either. I think that Tiger's more like Jordan. He had the most dominant time, but you're talking about career from beginning to end. Tiger isn't in that category anymore, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So that's when you think about it, that's what's so amazing about it. Like, Tiger Woods is probably the greatest golfer ever. Okay, but it's not the greatest golf career ever. After he cheated on his girl, and after all that happened, and the injuries, he never recovered. He had that one run at the Masters. He got it. But like, if you really think about it, for the last 10 years, Tiger's just like, that's what I'm trying to say. You think about careers, Agassi, that's a good one right there. I love that. That's a good one too. Tennis, like Agassi, oh my God, he won when you didn't think he can win. But there's a good example. Like, those are the guys. You got Agassi, LeBron, Tom Brady. I think Gretzky played for like a long time, but he may not have. I don't know. But I think he did. I think Gretzky played way longer than he should have. But anyways, let's get back to it. So now, then there was this one basketball player that had a rant about like, man, and then even Charles Barkley's rant about like, there's some great stories in the NBA. And then the Luka trade happened, and it was like, wow, why would you trade Luka Doncic? It was like, that's going to go down as the worst trade in history. Okay, it's just the worst trade in history for the Dallas Mavericks. So it got me back into it, and then I started watching again, and I was like, there's some good ass basketball going on right now. Now, I don't count Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, in his later years, Jerry Rice was just okay. You know what I mean? I'm talking about you winning championships in your 40s. That's who we talking about. Those are the people. It's hard. But let's get to it. So the NBA's been good. There's some great stories. The Oklahoma City, they almost won 70 games. There's only been a few teams that have done that. Shea Gillis, he's probably going to win the MVP, and he should. He's done something only 2 other players have done, like average, I think it's like average 30 points and be 50% shooting or more. Something crazy like that. It's only Jordan and one other player that have done what he's done. And his team has 68 wins. It's like, that guy's the MVP. Jokic, though, he's going to have the greatest season to not win the MVP ever. I mean, it's like, that's what kind of great basketball is going on. But his team's not as good. You know what I mean? The team's success, I think, should count towards it. So you got some great stories. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've been like fighting their way for the last couple years. And now they have the best record in the East. So let me say this. I think there's a number of really good teams. And then there are teams that, like, I bet all of us think these teams have a legit shot to win the title. Then there's these other teams that remind me of the Celtics that are just always there looking to break through. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of these teams and what I think is going to happen. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. So you got the Cavaliers are going to play the winner between the Hawks, Bulls, and Heat. So I think that Hawks lost last night. So I'm not sure who they're going to play, but I think that's going to be a whooping. I don't see the Hawks, Bulls, or Heat that's just a clown show, in my opinion. Those teams don't have it. I think there should be a cap to the play-in. I think you should be within 3 games. If you're not within 3 games of the 8th seed, they just don't have a play-in for that. I think it should be something like that, But I think the play-in, by the way, I think the play-in is great. I think the play-in has done a wonder for the NBA. I think that it makes the last part of the season worth something. So I think that was a great idea. Okay, so I think the Cavs are going to win that first round. Okay, then you got the Celtics versus the Magic. That's going to be a good series, but I do think the defending champion Celtics. Now the Celtics are one of those teams. They've been around and they've been doing it. They are doing it. And so they finally won the championship. They've been to the championship before. So I think they are the favorite to get to the championship. So I like the Celtics versus the Magic. The Knicks, I don't know. They one of those teams. It's just I can't believe in the Knicks. Who can believe in the Knicks? It's like Jalen Brunson that dude's a dog. But like they just don't seem to have enough. It would be shocking if they it would be a Cinderella story if the Knicks got to the championship, even to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. They're just one of those teams that they're missing a piece. So when they win games, you're like, wow. And then they win a lot of games, and you're like, damn, they look good. But they don't have that thing, for me to be like, oh, I could see them going to the championship. I don't see them going to the championship. I don't think they have a shot. Now, the Pistons, that dude Cade is a beast. Now, the Pistons went from winning 14 games to now they're in the playoffs. They got legitimate stars. They got a legitimate, look like a all-NBA star. This kid is great. He should get some MVP votes. But, they're just one of those teams, though. They lack experience. So where I look at the Knicks, I think they're missing something. I think the Pistons, they just lack experience. And I think experience matters late in the NBA playoffs. So I don't think the Pistons have a shot. But Knicks, Pistons, I think the Pistons have a shot to beat the Knicks, but that's as far as they go. So I think that's going to be the best first round series is Knicks, Pistons, followed by Pacers, Bucks. So I don't know if Dame Lillard is coming back, but Giannis is just a Greek freak, is still doing Greek freak stuff. I mean, I think the last 20 games of the season he averaged a triple-double, a 30-point triple-double. I mean, that dude is that dude's a monster, man. He is a monster. So, but Halliburton and the Pacers, remember they got to the East Final a few years ago. So it's like, but they're one of those teams. The Pacers remind me of one of those teams that's missing something. They like the Knicks. They missing something. They missing a piece. Like if Kevin Durant went to the Pacers, I think, that might take him over the edge. But I don't know. I got my thoughts on Kevin Durant, by the way. But anyways. So I think the Bucks, but that's going to be a good series, right? So that first round series is something else. And then You got the winner of Celtics are going to play the winner of Knicks Pistons. I mean, I think the Celtics have the easiest road to the Eastern Final. Because, like, the winner of Celtics, I think the Celtics are going to win, and then they're going to mop up whoever wins between the Knicks and the Pistons. I just don't see that being a thing. And then you got, I think the Cavs are going to win. I think that's going to be a sweep. And then they're going to play the winner between the Pacers and Bucks. Now, if I didn't see if Dame Lillard was going to come back or not. He might, right? Chat, do you guys know? Is he coming back? Because I can see the Bucks beating the Cavs because they got championship experience. Like, the Bucks are like that little, like, underdog. Let's see what they could do. You know what I mean? So, like, I would not be shocked if the Bucks beat the Cavs because of the Cavs' inexperience. But then again, I think to see a Bucks-Celtics rematch in the Eastern Finals, that would be pretty good. But I think we want to see Cavs-Celtics in the Eastern Finals. I think that's what we want to see. Those will be the two best teams throughout the Eastern Conference, and we'll see what happens. But, I think the Celtics are going to the championship again. I think they have what it takes. They got depth. They got good coaching. I think it's going to be Celtics in the championship again. That's my thoughts on that. On the Eastern Conference, you guys tell me what you think. Somebody said Dame is most probably coming for the second round. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I would not be shocked to see Bucks move forward. So that's my Eastern Conference. Tell me what you think about it in the chat, in the comments. Give me some Eastern Conference thoughts. All right, let's go over to the Western Conference, and this is going to be a dogfight. Western Conference playoffs. Here we go. No regard for human life. That's the Western Conference playoffs, man. So you got, all right, so the Thunder are going to play the Grizzlies, Kings, or Mavericks. Okay, so the Grizzlies, I don't think you can fire your coach and keep the proper continuity and win 16 games. 18 games counting the play-in. Well, they lost one already because they lost to the Warriors last night. I don't know. I don't think they could do it. I don't think the Grizzlies have what it takes to beat the Thunder. I think they're going to beat the Mavericks, but I don't think they're going to beat. I think the Thunder are going to. The Thunder's going to put a whooping on them, okay? But the Grizzlies are one of those teams, like I say, that are young and inexperienced, and they haven't gotten over the hump yet. Not like where I don't think they have enough. I think the Grizzlies have enough. I just don't think they have enough experience, and I don't like that coaching change. But we'll see. Because here's the other part about it. The Thunder, even though they won 68 games, they are one of those young teams that just can't get over the hump. We don't believe in the Thunder. Isn't that weird? We don't believe in the Thunder. Only people that believe in the Thunder are in Oklahoma City. But the rest of us are like, let's see. But if they won the championship, we're not going to be shocked because we're going to be like, well, they were the best team all year. They won 68 games. But going into every series, we're going to be like, I don't know if they could do it. So that's what I love about the Western Conference. So I think the Thunder win first round. Now, Rockets, Warriors. That's the one right there. Now, see, I love the coach. I love Ime Udoka. I think what he's done with the Rockets shows what a great coach he is. That team is young and hungry, but they too young, man. They got everything they need. I think the Warriors are going to win. I think experience. I think playoff Jimmy. I think Steph Curry, Draymond. I think the Warriors have enough to beat the Rockets. So I'm picking the Warriors in that series. Lakers, Timberwolves. Now the Timberwolves have been known to, surprise people. That's a tough one, right? I think Ant is dope. Anthony Edwards is the next. But, man, can you bet against LeBron and Luka? Can you? I mean, in good conscience, you look at this matchup, and you see that you got LeBron James and Luka, and then what's his name? AR-15, they call him. What's that fucking guy's name? They got a legit big three. JJ Redick looks like he actually can coach. Can't go against. I just can't bet against the Lakers. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't bet against LeBron and Luka. So I do think the Lakers are going to beat the Timberwolves, but I think that's going to be a good series. Like, I'm not going to be shocked if that goes 7. And then you got the Nuggets and my Clippers. I'm going to be a homer right now.
I don't know, but I found.
Hey, Google, shut up. Hey, Google, stop listening. Does your guys do that? Hey, Google, stop listening. I think. Look, I'm going to be a homer. I'm going for my Clippers. I want my Clippers to win. But in the same way I think about the Grizzlies, this coaching change, I think that coaching change is going to catch up to them. Even though I think they're undefeated since they changed coaches. But still, that's Jokic being Jokic. And, they got championship experience. I'm pulling for James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, man. James Harden has been a choke job in the playoffs his whole career. Maybe he has the emotional maturity now to be like, can I get over this? I'm tired of people saying this about me. Let me be an all-time great. Because when James Harden is at his game, at his best, there's very few people that can stick with this guy. He's playing really good right now. And then you got Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, this is the healthiest he's been since they won the championship in Toronto, since he won that championship. Kawhi Leonard has never looked like this. He played a back-to-back game the other day. The dude is balling on both sides of the court, too. Offense and defense. So you got a great Kawhi, you got a great James Harden, and you got Zubac. This dude's balling. This dude's like got 15 rebounds a game, 16 points. He is a legit center. Hey, watch out for my Clippers. Okay? I am picking the Clippers over Denver. But I'm not going to be shocked if Denver wins. But I am picking the Clippers over Denver. So now you're going to have so now you got Rockets. I think it's going to be Warriors-Lakers in the next second round. That's going to be so good. That's going to be so good. I'm going to take the Lakers. I think they have more. I think the Lakers have more. So I'm going to take the Lakers, but that's going to be a 7-game series. 7-game series, Warriors-Lakers. Okay? Now, Clippers, Thunder, or Grizzly. I think the Thunder are going to win that series, and then it's Clippers-Thunder. Now, I think the Clippers have the edge. I just think they do. I think this sounds crazy, but I think the Clippers, if James, this is the caveat. If James Harden can get past his playoff woes and he starts playing how he plays, I think they have the better coach. I think they have a better coach and they have more superstars. Because you got Shea and you got that dude Jalen, but he's just, you know what I mean? He may not be Robin, he might be Batgirl. You know what I'm saying? And then you got, so I think I think the Clippers can beat the Thunder and go to the Western Finals. I really do. I think the Clippers can beat the Thunder and go to Western Finals, and I think it's going to be Clippers-Lakers in the Western Finals. Clippers-Lakers, Western Finals. I'm calling it, and I think Lakers go to the championship versus the Celtics. There it is, y'all. That's my playoff preview. Tell me what you think. Call me crazy if you want. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is funny. Somebody just asked a question in the chat. How come nobody calls LeBron James? I know what you mean. Well, you know what? In the broadcast, they'll do it. James to the hole, but that's a first name. His name really should be James LeBron. You know what I mean? That's the thing. James is a really an unusual last name. So just LeBron sounds more. It just sounds better off the tongue when you say it, LeBron. So I don't know. Anyways, so we'll see what's happening with that, guys. So let me know your thoughts. Who you think's gonna win? Let me see your brackets, y'all. Show me who you think's winning. Who's going. Let me see your Final Four. So tell me your Final Four and who you think's gonna win. All right. Let's go into like some stuff that I saw. So spoiler alert. Just the spoiler alert time. White Lotus. I don't know if you guys saw the White Lotus premiere, the the whole season and the finale. John Grease, Natasha Rothmal, Jane. Oh no, that's the old one. I need the new White Lotus. That's different. That's 2021. Let me see. Where's the White Lotus from this year? Well, whatever. Let's just talk about it, man. White Lotus, dude. This was. I didn't really get into last season. I wasn't a fan of last season, but this season, man. This season was tremendous. I think this was a tremendous season of White Lotus with a lot of different themes. At a certain point, though, in this White Lotus universe, I'm not going to a White Lotus hotel, right? So this is not a third murder at a White Lotus hotel. I'm like, yeah, where we going to go on vacation? Not White Lotus, I'll tell you that. So they had the, wait, I'm trying to see, where can I get the cast and crew, man, of this season's White Lotus, dude? Wait, let me look it up. I'm looking on IMDb. White Lotus Season 3. Let's get that. Okay, here we go. White Lotus Season 3. White Lotus Season, here we go. All right, White Lotus Season 3. Here we go. Yeah, so the girl, and then that girl that is a star of White Lotus, she, they did a parody on SNL, and she was like really upset by it. She was, and I didn't think, you know what? It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny, and you see that girl right here too, like on the pictures right here. This girl, she got these weird teeth. You know what I mean? But it's like she's very engaging. There's something about her that is like, I don't know. I can't even explain it, but she got that it factor as an actress. So I did think it sucked that they made fun of her like that. But, it is what it is. What are you supposed to do? You got to be built for it, man. You know what I mean? If you're not built for it, it's going to happen. Well, I mean, I'm trying to I thought I had this thing opened up, man, on the cast. And now it's like not showing the people that I wanted to show. Let's see. So, Walton Goggins is off the chains this season. You follow his story. He's there with that girl, and her name is, what's this girl's name? Amy Lou Wood. That's her name. And she's playing this sort of, she's like the younger woman with this, like, he's like this older guy, and he's going through some kind of trauma, man. He's going through some kind of trauma. He thinks that the owner of this hotel killed his father, and he somehow wants to get revenge. And how that plays out is just fantastic. I actually called it too. I knew it. There was a moment that the actor, the guy that played, what's his name? That was in Kill Bill. What is that motherfucker's name, guys? He's like oh my God, I don't see him on the damn list. Why isn't he on the list, man? Do I have to show more? Wait, where's all they're not showing everybody. But anyways, the Kung Fu guy, he said, there's this great moment where, Goggins has a gun on him, and he's like, you killed my father. My mother told me, and he says the mother's name. And then the way the guy says the mother's name, I knew the secret, It just was great. So his story was great. And then you have this like, oh man, what a dilemma. So there's this like rich family, and it's played by like Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, which I thought he did a great job. He even looks like his dad a little bit, but but softer features. He does a fantastic job. This other kid that's in it, what's that guy's name? Sam Nivola. And then the mom, Victoria Ratliff, so Parker Rosie, she's great. And then the dad, who played the dad? Jason Isaacs, Timothy Ratliff. Yeah, Jason Isaacs. So there's this like rich family. All they care about is money and wealth and fame and, whatever. And then, they go to this thing. And then you find out that the dad is involved in some sort of embezzling or something like that. So while he's on vacation, he's getting these like messages. He realizes that one of his business partners is going to jail, and they gonna seize all his assets too, and he gonna go to jail, or he gonna be poor. You know what I mean? He's going to go to jail or something. So now that's looming over the vacation, you know? And then he's like, you know, it just comes to a head where he has this like moral dilemma, you know? And then he realizes how terrible his family is. His wife says to him, like, I'd rather die than lose everything. Even though she doesn't know that they have lost everything, you know? The eldest son is like, yeah, Dad, this is all I have. You're all I have. You're all I want, you know? And he's terrible throughout the season. Everybody's terrible. The daughter, you think the daughter's redeeming because she tricked the family into coming to Thailand so she can go look at this monastery, this Buddhist, you know, community. And she goes and she realizes, I don't want to live like this. She's like, I'm a princess. You know, it was great because you loved her the whole time. And then she stays at the monastery overnight and you think, oh man, you know, then she realizes that the mom is so proud that her daughter is like a little, you know, spoiled princess. And the dad is just looking at his family like he himself is like one of those 1939 stock market guys when the stock market crash jumped off the building. So he's going to kill his whole family, except for his one son who is just like, you know, a sweet boy played by Sam Nivola. And then something happens. Well, you'll see. You got to watch the episode. I'm not going to spoil everything, you know? And you're just like, oh my God, you know? Just all the performances were great. Michelle Monaghan, she plays this like aging actress and she's on there with her three friends. And all of their nonsense comes out, you know, all of their resentments and stuff comes out through this stay. I mean, all those actresses did I'm telling you, this season of White Lotus, the performances in the show were just fantastic, man. I mean, it was just fantastic. They dealt with so many weird things, you know, so there's like this weird incest. You know, so the two brothers are getting high on mushrooms and whatever, and they're with these two women, and you know, the girls kiss each other. They make the girls kiss each other. Then they make the brothers kiss each other, and then like they allude to like more things happen, and then you find out that something did happen between the brothers, and you're just like, what? And then like when so now the older brother's just completely ashamed of it. He's like, he can't believe this happened. And it's just great scene between the older brother and the younger brother because the younger brother's like, well, you know, I'm a pleaser. I'm like, you know, it was so great the way he said it. Just being like, you know, you just looked like you were left out and I just didn't want you to be left out. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, like that thought process is so crazy, but like there are a lot of people who think like that. The people that are like people pleasers, you know what I mean? That don't look out for their own self or their well-being, you know? So it's like the whole thing was great. Like all these different storylines that are going on. Oh, and then there's this great storyline with this like Thai guy. He works the gate and he's like, you know, he's in love with this girl and she's played by this like big time Thai. She's like the Beyonce of Thailand, they call her. So she was a great actress too, man. Like these people were great. And so this guy has this like, you know, he wants more, you know, and so like the main guy gets a gun. He's going because there's a robbery. He figures out who the robbers are. I mean, it's just like all these moral dilemmas that go on are great. It's a great watch. So I do highly recommend White Lotus season 3. Yeah, check that out. Check out White Lotus season 3. A lot of great things happen. It's very engaging from beginning to end. You know, oh, and then like yeah, there's all like I said, there's all these moral dilemmas. So then from season 1 of White Lotus, the guy's back who was married to Jennifer Coolidge. You know, so you know it turns out he killed her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, spoiler, but if you haven't watched White Lotus, I don't care. It's 3 years old now, 4 years old. You know, so like he has all her money, and then the masseuse from that other White Lotus, she's visiting this White Lotus because Jennifer Coolidge told her she was going to give her money to start a thing, but then she died, right? She sees the husband and she figures out, oh man, this guy, and she doesn't know what to do. Then her son comes, who's like in business school, and the son is like, Dad, she's like, Mom, we gotta get money from this guy, because the guy tried to tell her, hey, because they don't know where he is. Like people in the world, they're looking for him. The authorities are looking for him, and they can't find him. So now she sees him, and she, you know, and she has this moral dilemma: do I extort this guy for money, or do I turn him in? Like there's so many moral dilemmas going on throughout this whole season that is great. So I need you to. I think you should check it out. Check it out. It's really great. Really, really great. All right. All right. There's a couple other movies that I saw, guys. I saw Nosferatu. That's like a new movie that came out, right? Here we go. 2024. It stars, who's in it? Yeah, Lily Rose Depp. She's great in this. I mean, it's hard to watch her after watching that terrible HBO show, but she does an absolute fantastic job in this. I'll just make it quick. This is a play on the Dracula movie. You know, Dracula is one of those stories that's like, it's public domain now. You know, like you could download Dracula for free. I don't think anybody owns Dracula. So that's why you see so many movies and things about it. So this is kind of loosely following the Dracula story. In my opinion, it's too artsy-fartsy for my Nicholas Hoult is the star, who's the guy that goes to visit Dracula. It's very artsy, okay? Just the way it's shot, the makeup, just everything about it. Bill Skarsgård plays Dracula, but you wouldn't even know because you can't. Dracula's just all Dracula up the whole movie. So I watched it. I watched the extended sort of director's cut version that was on Peacock. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It was it's a good movie because I like the Dracula story. And I love vampire stuff. So I watch a lot of vampire movies and I read a lot of vampire books. It was fine. I'll just say that. But it's a tough watch. You know what I mean? Like, you might have to take a break and go get some lunch and come back. It's a tough watch. It's not the most enjoyable movie to watch from beginning to end, but it's a good movie. You know, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. Maybe 3.5 woo-woos. Woo, 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 woo. You know what I mean? I don't know. Boop. So, I would say watch it, okay? You know, just watch it. Somebody said Snow White was okay. Yeah, I agree. I think it was just okay. You know what I mean? It was just okay. And then I saw this movie, Juror Number 2. Great moral dilemma. You know, a guy's on a jury. Nicholas Holt's in that too. Guy's on a jury, and it's a murder case. They think the boyfriend kills his girlfriend, you know, and left her on the side of the road. And then juror number 2, this guy, Nicholas Hoult, he realizes that he was also at that bar, and he was like distraught and driving home, and accidentally, he thinks he hit a deer, but he realizes he hit this woman and killed her. So now he's on the jury. What a moral dilemma. What would you do in that situation? We talk about it a little bit on the Golden Hour, so check me out over there. But yeah, guys, I didn't get to get into comments this week. Let me just, we could do it. Let me go see what's going on the comments this week. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you know what? I didn't go through them this week to see if there was any good ones. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. Make sure you check me out. I'm going to be at the Kansas City Comedy Club this weekend. So if you're in the Kansas City area, come out and check me out. Laughs in Seattle next week, 25th and 26th. Comedy Store La Jolla, and I got a bunch of other dates coming up. I'm going to be out with Matt Rife a lot. So, guys, thanks for watching the show. I appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you sub so you know when I'm going live. Hit the sub button because, wait, what's going on here? So you can know when I'm going live or when I put up stand-up videos. I'm on Twitch a lot, so make sure you check out Twitch. I'm going to be on Twitch later before I have to leave for Hollywood. Going to be at the Laugh Factory tonight. And then Patreon people, I got my Monday Nuance and a bunch of other videos going up, so make sure you check me out on that. And I appreciate you watching the show, and you listeners, you audio people, as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. You YouTubers, YouTubers, thank you for watching Riffin with Griffin Live. Thanks for being here with me. You know, sometimes we have a small group. Sometimes we have a big group. Sorry I missed last week's episode, but we're here, and I will see you guys next week.